When? February 1916. Why is a much more difficult question, and it's one that people have argued about ever since it started. That day, the 21st of February, the Germans launched an enormous attack upon the old French fortress town of Verdun, one that had been fortified since Roman and even pre-Roman times. Falkenhayn, the commander-in-chief of the German army, hoped that the French would defend it, and he hoped that in defending it, they would bleed themselves white. He would be able to use his artillery to do this. Right away, people began to wonder whether that was what he really intended. It was not clear what else he might have intended, but certainly the place seemed to have no real strategic significance. After the war, he insisted that that was all he had intended, simply to bleed the French white. In fact, he intended much more. He intended to shake up the entire Western Front. He thought that Verdun would be the first in a series of battles that would enable Germany to bring the war to an early conclusion. That didn't happen. He never acknowledged that intention. Why did the French defend it? This is a more, or in many ways as difficult a question to answer. It was not, in fact, a place of great symbolic importance. It was old, but it never really acquired the legendary status that the battle would confer upon it. It was not strategically deeply significant. It was not close to the links, the rail links that tied the French to their British allies. The reason the French decided to defend it was essentially for reasons of prestige and morale at home. After all the losses, human losses, of 1914 and 1915, the failure to win, not to defend the place, to abandon it, even if it was strategically defensible, that is, a decision to abandon it might have been strategically defensible, would have dealt a very severe blow to the government and to the morale of the nation.